So apparently, some new paperwork just dropped. The feds just dropped some new paperwork, and apparently there's 2 more snitches. This why Lil Durk was trying to This why he wanted a speedy trial right here. This why he was trying to hurry up because see y'all a lot of people were saying, "Oh, the feds is probably going to push stuff back because they don't have enough evidence, whatever." The feds want to push stuff back because they know that they can get more evidence, or they know it might be more snitches, or you know what I'm saying? Pushing shit back helps the feds. It don't hurt the feds because now they have more time to get their shit all the way together and get their shit all the way straight so they can get a conviction. You know what I'm saying? Do your homework on convictions.
I want y'all to notice this before we start the video. 10/17/2024.
10/17.
Just pay attention to this. Kevon London Grant, a.k.a. Cuz, a.k.a. Vonnie. DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, a.k.a. Didi. Keith Jones, a.k.a. Flocka. Brian Lindsay, a.k.a. Brown Eyes. And Austin Houston, a.k.a. Boogie. Defendants, right? It says conspiracy and use of interstate facilities resulting in death. Use, carry, and discharge firearms, machine gun, and possession of such firearms in furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. Possession of a machine gun. Those are the first charges that were given. Okay. So that was the first.
That was the first indictment.
Well, Nash, I know you're going to hit us with the second one, right? Right. I want to jump to a year later. March 1st, 2025. To the second superseding indictment, if you will. Changed up. Durk Banks, Kevon London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, Brian Lindsay, Austin Houston, right? Second superseding indictment, conspiracy and use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire. Then it goes stalking. They just added that one in. And death. Stalking. Use, carry, and discharge firearms, a machine gun, and possession of such firearms in furtherance of crimes of violence resulting in death. Possession of a machine gun, and they're going for criminal forfeiture. So that was the second superseding indictment. Well, today, 40 minutes ago, dun, 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 we got a third superseding indictment, missing 2 individuals and bringing up some shit that we didn't even see on camera, but according to the feds, they have. And Fonnie Willis just dropped it. Let's go. Right here, United States of America versus Durk Banks, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson,
so they just dropped
David Brian Lindsay, Austin Houston. Noticeably missing is OTF Vonnie and Flocka. So it says third superseding indictment. You remember, we had one superseding indictment. The second superseding indictment dropped the money part in there and turned this shit into stalking.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So there's that. So it says murder in aid of racketeering, conspiracy to commit stalking, stalking resulting in death, conspiracy and use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, possess, use, carry, and discharge firearms and machine gun in furtherance and during and in retaliation to a crime of violence. Then it says they're looking for criminal forfeiture. So that's going to be interesting because if you remember Lil Pop's mama.
Listen, y'all, YouTube and Meta might owe you up to $1,000 if you or your child grew up on social media. If you or your child spent years growing up on social media and experienced serious mental health issues, you should hear this. Recently, a jury just ordered Meta and YouTube to pay millions for their role in designing and promoting addictive platforms. They know that their apps can cause anxiety, depression, or body image issues, but they never shared those risks with us. They never made us sign anything that we knew the risk. They just maximized their profits. And the recent historic verdict underscores the consequences of those decisions. But you better not worry. Morgan & Morgan is stepping up to hold these platforms accountable for the harm that they have caused. Click the link in my bio to take a very short questionnaire quiz because you might be entitled to a potential recovery of over $1,000.
Is suing Durk as well for wrongful death.
Yep,
which I believe everybody should.
What? Suing the shit out that nigga.
Suing these rappers for, whenever these rappers kill somebody. I always believe, hey, nigga, y'all better sue these motherfuckers. That's why I always tell people all the time, stop saying King Von killed K.I. Even though Butter got on the stand, I watched him get on the stand in Chicago and say King Von killed her. But to it. Introductory allegations, at times relevant to this third superseding indictment. The Racketeering enterprise. Defendant Dirk Banks, also known as a.k.a. Lil Durk, Blood, Schmirk, and Lil Dude. DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, a.k.a. OTF Diddy, Threat, Big Threat, and Deesky, Asa Houston, a.k.a. OTF Boogie, and Kevon Grant, a.k.a. Cuz and Vonnie. And others known and unknown to the grand jury were members and associates of a criminal organization engaged in, among other things, acts and threats involving murder and attempted murder, robbery.
I'm telling you, I've been saying it since the beginning. They gonna turn this shit into. I wouldn't be surprised if they turn this into a RICO. Listen to how they saying it. Criminal organization. Criminal organization means it's organized. That's what organization means. Engaged in acts of threats involving murder, attempt murder, robbery, and trafficking in controlled substances. Sound like a RICO, don't it?
And trafficking in controlled substances. What? What the hell? So now they doing drugs?
Yeah, yeah.
That wasn't there before. In or around 2010, Defendant Banks formed an organization called Only the Family, or OTF, which, among other things, produced and sold hip-hop music of artists primarily from Chicago, Illinois area. After the formation of OTF, a subset of OTF members and associates hereinafter the Banks enterprise engaged in acts and threats of violence at the direction of Defendant Banks, including murder and attempted murder, to maintain and enhance their status in a Banks gang enterprise, and to be rewarded by Defendant Banks through economic benefits, including money, lucrative music opportunities, and jewelry. See, that jewelry part wasn't there before.
Right.
The music opportunities don't make sense.
The Banks gang enterprises, I ain't gonna lie, they're going to cook. Their feds are not. Jesus will have to come back himself. I don't know if can Trump pardon anybody. I don't know if how that works, but if shit, they better start calling on Trump. Shit, they better do something, nigga. But call the next whoever the fuck the next president gonna be. They better pay his ass some money. They better do something. It ain't looking good for Smirk. I ain't gonna lie. Smirk ain't gonna be smirking too damn long.
Just because you ain't heard nothing new since Lil Pyle got killed. The Banks gang enterprise, including its leadership, members, and associates.
Ooh, that's some crazy shit.
Really? Constituted an enterprise as that term is defined in Title 18 United States Code, Sections 1959b2 and 1961-4. That is a group of individuals associated, in fact, although not a legal entity, which engaged in and activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce. The Banks gang enterprise constituted an ongoing organization whose members functioned as a continuing unit for a common purpose of achieving the objectives of the enterprise, as further alleged below. Background and purpose of the Banks gang enterprise. Defendant Banks was the leader of the Banks gang enterprise. Defendant Wilson, Houston, and Grant, and co-conspirators 2 through 6 were members or associates of the Bank gang enterprise. Defendant David Brian Lindsay, a.k.a. Brown Eyes, Keith Jones, a.k.a. Flocka, and conspirators 7 through 8 were individuals associated with members of the Banks.
So they said co-conspirators 2 through 6 were members or associates of the Banks gang. And then it says 7 through 8 were individuals who were associated with members of the Banks gang. So they can't prove. See, this is crazy when you see it in the Fed document, because if they're saying this, they have some evidence to back it up. They can't say something as a statement of fact like that and then change. You see how they got Brown Eyes and Flocka? They say associated with members of the Banks gang enterprise. And then they say 2 through 6 were members or associates of the Banks gang enterprise. So being a member or associate of the Banks gang is different than associated with members. You see what I'm saying? Like,
gang enterprise. Ain't that some shit? So whatever. Defendant Banks formed the Banks gang enterprise by recruiting among others violent members and affiliates of the Black Disciples gang, including Defendant Wilson, from different neighborhood blocks in or around the Chicago area. Defendant Banks and Wilson and co-conspirators 2 through 6 were members and associates or affiliates of the Black Disciples gang. Defendant Houston was a close associate.
And that's why, see, y'all call the reactors and the bloggers, y'all call us the police, but y'all got on here and said what gang y'all was in. Y'all did all this representing and throwing up this and this and this and weak GDK and BDK. Y'all understand that that's police, right? You understand that if you in a gang and you get on the internet on camera and claim that gang, you telling the you giving the police information. Y'all don't see it like that. When you get on the song and say, I don't hang around none of them thing BDs. I don't hang around nobody but killers, nigga. When you say that on songs, you know that make the police look at you like, oh really? Oh cool. So you admitting the fact that you a BD. Bet. So now when you get arrested for something, we can put gang enhancement on that. We can make it in the paperwork. We can make it seem like you a tough, violent gangbanger. You see what I'm saying? And now it's not making nothing better for you, bro. If I was in the streets gang banging and shit, gang, I would deny that every chance I got. But see, that defeats the whole purpose of the gang banging shit, because these niggas only gang bang for validation from other niggas. So they have to get on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat and on the internet, on social media, period, and say, yeah, I'm a this, I'm a VD, I'm a GD, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a this, I'm a that. And it's like, yeah, I'm a Crip, I'm a Blood. It's like, okay, that's cool until you get arrested. And then they say they charge you with all this gang shit. And then what's your defense gonna be? I ain't in the gang. Oh, well, here's 10,000 videos and songs of you admitting to being in the gang, so you're not associated with this gang. The jury look at all that, bro.
Of defendant Banks and other enterprise members who were associated with the Black Disciples gang. Members and associates of the Banks gang enterprise would use violence to preserve and promote defendant Banks and the enterprise power and influence, including influence and / control of Black Disciple controlled neighborhoods in Chicago. Come on, bruh. This don't even sound right.
What you mean? What? Sound right?
You telling me in 2010, Durk had no money like he got right now, that Lil Durk was over there power tripping and was like, y'all trying to say he Larry Hoover, he King David.
He is.
BD. Come on, bruh. This fake as hell. The Banks gang enterprise committed violence.
He said it's fake, nigga. No, it's not fake, bro. It's not fake. It's not fake. It's not fake. When you start a group called OTF and then you go around Chicago pretty much recruiting people to be associated with OTF, and OTF is known for being violent criminals. Ain't none of this shit fake, bro. They not making none of this up. I'm from Chicago. I could tell you, nigga. 2010, 2011, that's when it was starting. Throw the L's up for them hitters. Let me see when that song came out. When did Lil Durk L's Anthem come out? 2012. You know what I'm saying? You remember he had mixtapes called I'm a Hitter. I'm Still a Hitter. Like he had songs and mixtapes like that, bro. You feel me? Like it was murders and shit going on around him way before y'all heard about who Lil Durk was, bro. When he was just the nigga in Chief Keef videos, like, bro, like I'm trying to tell y'all.
Murder and attempted murder and threats to commit murder to promote the enterprise and to seek revenge against its rivals, including members of the Gangsta Disciples gang and individuals who harmed, attempted to harm, or disrespect members and associates of the Banks gang enterprise, which doesn't make sense.
Oh, Jesus.
Because OTF has GDs in it. That doesn't make any damn sense.
Oh, my God. Some of y'all just be clueless, bro. Some of y'all just be clueless. So he said it don't make sense, right? Because he said including members of the Gangster Disciples. Y'all don't understand how Chicago gangs work. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what gang you are in. It matters where you're from. You can be a GD, but if you're from O Block, nigga, you're from O Block. That's the gang. You know what I'm saying? The cliques took over the gangs. So it's not like in LA where, you know, which in LA, I don't know how it is in LA for real, but it's not like in other states or other places where Bloods against Crips or Crips against Hoovers or Hoovers against Bloods, or, you know what I'm saying? Or this Mexican gang versus this. It's not like that in Chicago. There is GDs in OTF, yes, but where are those GDs from? All this shit said, well, and these are people, I don't know if they just don't know it or if they just holding on to some help, some hope for Lil Durk. But if you know anything about Chicago, it says including members of the Gangster Disciples gang and individuals who harmed, attempted to harm, or disrespected members and associates of the Banks Gang enterprise. So he's saying it don't make sense because it's GDs in there, so it don't make sense that they was killing other GDs. Yes, it does, bro. Because the other GDs were their main ops. 63rd and St. Lawrence was their main ops. You understand what I'm saying? So when you go down Lamron, all them niggas, Lil JoJo, Brick Squad, all them niggas, Wooga World, those are all GD sets. Those are all that might have BDs in there. Y'all know FYB J Main is a BD. I know it's confusing as hell. It's something called insane. When you're insane, that means you could be GD, but you still go against GDs. You see what I'm saying? You an insane GD, or you an insane BD. You know what I'm saying? You could be a BD that's insane, meaning you hang out with GDs, but you go against other BDs even though you BD. You see what I'm saying? I know it's confusing as fuck. Trust me. It don't make no sense. I ain't trying to say it like that, but they not far off on nothing they talking about.
And individuals who harmed, attempted to harm, or disrespect members and associates of the Banks Gang enterprise, which doesn't make sense because OTF has GDs in it. That doesn't make any damn sense. OTF literally has like 5 GDs. So you ain't rivaling no damn GDs if you got GDs in the game.
You're not.
I'm finna call Drew and tell him, man, put me as a witness, bro.
You're not understanding.
I'm going in.
Nash. You're not understanding at all. You lost, bro.
For example, following the November 2020 killing of DB, aka King Von, who was a member of the Banks. You saying that Von was a member of the Banks Gang enterprise? You're lying.
No, he's not.
Boy, Von would have smacked the shit out of. Von would have smacked the shit out of Durk, bro. Ain't no way in hell. That's impossible. There is no way on God's green that King Von was sitting up here saying, I'm a Banks Gang member. That's a lie. Whatever. Anyways.
He was OTF. That's the Banks Gang enterprise, said he Banks. See, this is why I feel like sometimes niggas just don't be knowing what they talking about, but that's cool. But it's like, Von was OTF, bro. That's all they saying. They just saying Von was OTF. And when you put the OTF tag on you and you doing violent shit, you killing, you robbing, you shooting, you got OTF tatted on you and all this shit. That's what they're talking about. The Banks Gang enterprise is nothing but just OTF. See what I'm saying? We not about to act like King Von wasn't claiming OTF. So let's just stop that.
Was a member of the Banks Gang enterprise and the Black Disciples.
And if he was, this is how the feds look at it. Okay, well, if he wasn't a member of your enterprise, then why did you pay for somebody else to go kill somebody that was associated with killing him if he wasn't in your gang enterprise? See how that worked? It's contradicting to say that, oh no, King Von wasn't in my bank gang enterprise. Okay, so why you pay some niggas to go kill the person that did something to him then? Well, that's because my friend. Okay, he's your friend that wears OTF tattoos, OTF chains, OTF this. He's Banks Gang enterprise, bro. It's not really that hard to like.
And a close friend and associate of defendant Banks. Y'all don't even know when King Von and Durk was even cool.
Doesn't matter.
They just became cool.
It don't matter.
Defendant Banks and other enterprise members conspired to murder those whom they perceived as responsible for DB's death, including TB, as further alleged in counts 1 through 6 below. Defendant Banks and the leadership of the Banks Gang enterprise, including defendant Wilson and co-conspirator 5, recruited other gang members and/or affiliates to commit violence for the enterprise, including defendant Lindsay and Jones and co-conspirator 2. Who we gonna assume is OTF on? They trying to get a conviction. Exactly. Defendant Banks funded the criminality, and violence committed by members and associates of the Banks Gang enterprise, including by facilitating the purchase of stolen cars to facilitate violent acts. They probably gonna use lyrics for that shit. I don't believe that at all. Specifically,
you don't believe nothing, Sadie. I ain't gonna lie. You don't believe shit. What did it say? Defendant Banks funded the criminality and violence committed by members and associates of the Banks Gang. Maybe they can't prove it, but we not about to sit here and act like these rappers don't do that. Like, let's just stop that, bro. Let's stop that. You think King Von gave all them niggas in O Block 100,000 so they could go what? Take care of their kids? What you think they did with that money? You don't think they bought guns and drugs and stolen cars and you don't think they bought that? You don't think they went and bought some bricks so they could sell some bricks or some pounds so they could sell? You don't think they did that? So how come Juice WRLD, who wasn't a gangster at all, why did he get caught with like 70 pounds of weed on his plane when he passed away? Rest in peace to Juice. It's not uncommon thing for rappers to give their homies money and fund, guns and drugs and murders and bullets and hot cars and fucking burner phones, and that's what they do. That's what's keeping it real. Keeping it real. You don't think no nigga ever called Durk and said, "Hey, bro, we need some guns." Y'all heard what Durk said in his song? Basically he said, nigga, if you ain't finna go kill, put some money for a bomb. Put some money for, you feel me? When you send money to a bunch of gang members all the time, when you pay a bunch of gang members bonds all the time for murders and this and that, when you pay for gang members lawyers, and then we find out that you involved in the crimes in any way possible, they're going to do this every time, bro.
Would cause the purchase of stolen cars, which enterprise members refer to as sliders or hot cars, to avoid law enforcement detection. Members and associates of the bank's gang enterprise will use sliders and fake license plates to commit violent acts against their opponents and rivals, which enterprises members frequently refer to as ops. That's a lie. And it's a lie because you can go to the damn killing of FBG Duck and see these cats use their own damn vehicles.
But you can also see that, oh Lord have mercy. You can also, y'all know that Lil Durk brother was involved in that murder more than y'all thought, right? Y'all know that, right? Do y'all know that? It doesn't matter that they use their own vehicles. That's one murder, bro. That's one murder. Y'all got to stop acting like the Fed. This is one thing I will say about everybody on YouTube when it comes to Lil Durk or Pooh Shiesty or whatever. It's like, okay, y'all know they gangsters. They talk about being gangster every song. They talk about who they shot, who they slid on. They drop songs when one of their ops die. And they do all it. And then when they get arrested for it, y'all say, oh, they lying. They lying. Oh, they lying. They don't know what they talking about. They lying. They lying. They lying. They're not lying. What the fuck are we? Where do they lie at?
That's a damn lie. They've been stealing shit in Chicago. Nigga, they steal water. The hell? That's one of the most underreported things about Chicago is that they steal cars. Anyways, enterprise violence, particularly shootings, was often referred to by enterprise members as drills or sliding. Defendant banks also funded the criminality and violence committed by members and associates of the bank's gang enterprise, including by facilitating the purchase of firearms and fights to travel to locations to kill enterprise rivals, funding the purchase of distribution quantities of illegal drugs and rewarding violence committed for the benefit of the bank's gang enterprise. Defendant banks funded the purchase of controlled substances for distribution in, among other places, Chicago and Georgia, by members and associates and affiliates of the...
They not saying all this without no snitch, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't give a fuck what you talking about. They not saying all this without no snitch. So they got shit from all the way 2020. They just gonna keep adding shit because the snitch gonna keep snitching. You know what I'm saying? And in order for you to snitch to the feds, you can't just go in there and say some bullshit. The feds ain't the police, bro. You can't just go in there and be like, yeah, he gave me $1,000. When? How? Who he give it to? Who you sell it to? Who you buy it from? So if I go get him, he gonna tell me the same story. Like they gonna confirm what the fuck you talking about. You
Bank's gang enterprise to secure the members, associates, and affiliates' loyalty and willingness to provide continued protection and to engage in violent acts against rivals of defended banks and the gang enterprise. So why is Lil Durk not being charged with drug distribution? Unless I missed it. What page is this? This is page 4. Let me go right up to the top real quick. Nope, murder, stalking, interstate facilities to commit
murder in aid of racketeering. That's what you're not understanding. Murder in aid. It don't just say murder. It says murder in aid of racketeering. So let's look up the definition. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm tripping. Sometimes I'll be feeling like I'm tripping. Racketeering is the act of engaging in a coordinated ongoing crime enterprise or fraudulent business scheme to generate illegal profits. And it frequently involves extortion, bribery, money laundering, physical threats, and is typically prosecuted under federal laws designed to dismantle organized crime rings. Okay? Embezzlement, loan sharking, fraud, extortion, cyber extortion, murder, drug dealing, robbery. These are all examples that can be racketeering. Okay? So when it says murder in aid of racketeering, that's what they're talking. When they start talking about drugs and all that shit, that's the point that they're talking about. It says it doesn't just say murder for hire. It doesn't just say murder for fun. It says murder in aid of racketeering. That means that they murdered somebody to help their criminal business. You see?
Murder, possess, use, carry, discharge firearms, and machine gun in furtherance of retaliation. Yeah, there's no damn drug dealing.
Oh my God.
There's no drug dealing. It's just, how y'all got that he sold drugs and bought drugs and all this shit, but he's not charged with it?
Drug dealing is considered racketeering if the offenses are committed as part of an organized criminal enterprise or involve a pattern of continuous illegal activity. Drug trafficking is explicitly listed as a predicate offense under the Federal Racketeer Influence and Corrupt Organizations Act, RICO. This is a Google search. I don't know if Steady Nash is a Durk fan or something, but sometimes, bro, it sounds to me like he want Durk to get off of this shit, so he's only looking for evidence that shows that he's lying. Everything Steady Nash has been, I've already broken down to be cap. You said that he was lying about the GD shit. How was they going against GDs when there's GDs there? Well, who are his main ops? Lil Jojo, FBG Cash, FBG Young, FBG Duck, Wooga World, Brick Squad. Who you think killed his fucking brother, bro? You think that was a GD? It's GDs in Harvey. That was a GD up there. Or down there, south suburbs. Like, bro, you said there's no drug dealing. Racketeering is the drug dealing, bro. That's the part that they're talking about. You gotta do your homework, bro.
Yeah, sound real shaky to me, man. So, defendant banks provided the monetary and other assistance described above to members, associates, and affiliates of the bank's gang enterprise to secure their loyalty and their willingness to provide protection and retribution against rivals of defendant banks and the bank's gang enterprise. Defendant banks, Wilson, Houston, and Lindsay, and others, known and unknown to the grand jury, including various members and associates of the bank's gang enterprise, engaged in the following acts of violence and furtherance of the enterprise: the attempted murder of victim 1 in Atlanta, Georgia, on or about February 5th, 2029, by, among others, defendant banks, DB, and co-conspirator 6, which was motivated by a dispute over the purchase of a stolen car. Oh, somebody big telling on this one.
They telling on all of this shit, bro. They been telling. Why you think Atlanta police let him go? Why you think Atlanta police... You know, Atlanta police dropped that case. Him and King Von, that attempt murder, they dropped that case after the Lil Pab situation. You know that, right? Why do you think that happened? Because the feds already had this shit taken care of, bro. And go back on my videos. I said that too. Come on, bro.
Crazy. Let me reread that. Because Von wasn't dead. Von didn't die in 2019. The attempted murder of victim 1 in Atlanta, Georgia, on or about February 5th, by, among other defendants, defendant banks, DB, and co-conspirator 6, which was motivated by a dispute over the purchase of a stolen car, specifically members, associates, and affiliates of the bank's gang enterprise, including co-conspirator 6, confronted victim 1 about a stolen car that victim 1 had sold co-conspirator 6. Co-conspirator 6 demanded a refund when victim 1 refused.
Look. The original 2019 Atlanta attempt murder and gang charges against Lil Durk were formally dismissed by Fulton County in October 2022, right? Now, let's go another simple Google search, right? When did Lil Pab get killed? So Lil Pab got killed in August of 2022. So you think it's a coincidence that in August of 2022, when Lil Durk and them went and killed Lil Pab, allegedly, right? And then in October, 2 months later, right? Yeah, 2 months later, Atlanta police dropped the charges on Lil Durk for that murder. Why do you think that is? I think it's because the feds say, hey, drop that. We let him get off his, you know what I'm saying? Let him think he cool for now. Drop that. We got him. Don't worry about it. We got him. Because you know the feds can come in and do that, right?
To pay, co-conspirator 6 attempted to rob him. Wait, I got that video. Hold on, bro. I have that video. They talking about the shooting by that damn nightclub. After victim 1 resisted, members of the Banks gang enterprise, including defendant Banks and DB, produced firearms and began shooting at victim 1, striking and wounding victim 1.
In Atlanta, though. I don't think that was about no nightclub.
Oh, shit. I got that video, bro. I'm gonna have to share that in the comments. The murder of victim 2, a rival gang member in Chicago, Illinois, on or about January 27, 2022, by, among others, co-conspirators 7 and 8. So they saying that Bezu didn't shoot, that Schmirk and King Von shot.
That's what they've been saying. They always said that.
Wow. Okay. Was motivated by the promise to pay in receipt of a reward from defendant Banks and members of the Banks gang enterprise following the murder of victim 2 on or about February 2nd, 2022. Co-conspirators 7 and 8 discussed obtaining payment for killing victim 2 from defendant Banks and the Banks gang enterprise. Specifically, co-conspirator 8 sent a text message to co-conspirator 7 stating, "What's up with OTF? What you mean they not paying?" In response to co-conspirator 7 responded, "We waiting. He, defendant Banks, comes up here on the 17th. On or about February 17th, 2022, co-conspirator 7 traveled to a location in or around Chicago, Illinois, where defendant Banks was recording the music video for music song 1 and being interviewed." They're talking about the ballhead dudes from Philly. I can't think of their name. $1 million worth of game. They're talking about that interview. Defendant Banks brought approximately $1 million in cash to the location, which was displayed as defendant Banks was being interviewed. At the time, multiple members and associates of the Banks gang enterprise were present, including defendant Wilson and Jones and co-conspirators 4 and 5. Co-conspirator 7 subsequently created a social media post in which co-conspirator 7 displayed his monetary reward from the Banks gang enterprise and played an excerpt of defendant Banks' music song 1 about stalking and murdering a rival as depicted in the screenshot. And it say, "We be sliding through their blocks they don't know we have." You already know that song. "Don't respond to shit with Von." I'm like, "You tripping. Go get your gun." As revenge for the killing of DB, the conspiracy to commit murder and the attempted murder of TB in Blackshear, Georgia, on or about May 2nd, 2021, by and among others, members of the Banks gang enterprise, including defendants Banks and Grant, and as revenge for the killing of DB, the conspiracy to stalk and murder TB, the stalking and attempted murder of TB, and the murder of SR in Los Angeles, California, on or about August 19, 2022, by, among others, defendant Banks, Wilson, Houston, Lindsey, Grant, and Jones as co-conspirators 2 through 7. Through phone calls, texts, communication, social media posts, and musical lyrics, members and associates of the Banks gang enterprise, including defendant Banks, Wilson, would boast about and celebrate violence committed by members, associates, and affiliates of the Banks gang enterprise. And 2, taunt and disrespect rivals of defendant Banks and the Banks gang enterprise, including by mocking rivals who have been killed. The Banks gang enterprise will commit these violent and boastful acts for the purpose of, among other things, 1, preserving, protecting, and promoting the enterprise, enhancing the reputation of its members and associates, and enriching defendant Banks and the enterprise members and associates, including by commercializing the enterprise's violence in public social media, music videos, and lyrics. 2, recruiting other individuals.
I don't know why this is so surprising to y'all. You can't kill somebody, have a bunch of evidence that you killed them, then get online and act like you didn't, and then get online and brag about it, and think the feds aren't going to say this in their paperwork when they done cooking your ass.
It's to join the enterprise.
That don't make
3,
sense to me,
intimidating
bro.
and retaliating against defendant banks and the banks gang enterprises rivals. And 4, preserving and expanding the power and influence of the enterprise in Chicago and Atlanta, among other places. Means and methods of the enterprise. The means and methods by which defendant Banks, Wilson, and Houston and other members and associates.
I'm not reading this shit no more. He cooked. Y'all nigga ass need to stop. So all this hope that y'all got, he's done.